lovelies. Today we're going to talk about the franchise that for Disney got away, Harry Potter, and the ride that could have been at Disney, and the history of Harry Potter's history at the theme parks. So without further ado, give this a like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell for whenever I post a video. You're not obligated to, but it does help the channel after all. And roll the intro. Our story begins in October of 1997. The rights for the publishing rights in the U.S. for a little book called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone were now up. One was vying for an opportunity to get a chance to publish The Boy Who Lived. Well, Disney got the chance, and they passed up on it. Their media director was not impressed with Harry Potter, and so the rights went to Scholastic. Then Harry Potter just blew up, and of course Disney was like, damn, we screwed up. And then they tried to buy Scholastic. Yeah, they tried to buy Scholastic, and Scholastic was like, no, you're not getting any of this. You guys had your chance. This is ours now. We're not selling out to you. And this kind of starts Disney's history with Harry Potter. They turned down the publishing rights, and then they tried to buy Scholastic, and Scholastic wasn't having it. So then Disney turned to J.K. Rowling. They tried to ask J.K. Rowling if they tried to make a deal to make the movies off the books and get the rights that way to the books. And J.K. Rowling had already made the deal with Universal, so that's why we have the books that we do have, because they wanted complete creative control over the franchise, and J.K. Rowling does not have that. She was not having it. She wanted to make sure that everything was as to the books as possible, and Disney didn't really like that, so Universal got the rights to make the movies. And then Universal tried to make their own little Harry Potter theme park. They kind of tested the waters by putting this walk-through attraction at the Australian Movieland, I think it's called. It's owned by Universal, and it was this walk-through attraction where you walk through Diagon Alley with a guide. So you didn't really have that many people coming back to it because it was a guided tour where it would just be the same song and dance every single time. So you couldn't really walk around. It was like a one experience thing, and then the sales on that dropped, and Universal was like, damn, maybe Harry Potter isn't that profitable as a theme park thing at all, so maybe we can sell the theme park rights to Disney. And this happened in 2003. So J.K. Rowling decided to go over and start talking to Disney about theme park rights, and in 2003 they signed a letter of intent between Rowling and Universal that they intended on making a Disney park of Harry Potter. They planned on making what's called a micro park, which is like Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, those little tiny parks in one of the big ones, like let's say Fantasyland and Tomorrowland in, I think it's Magic Kingdom. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like it was going to be a micro park, and Disney brought all these ideas to Rowling, and Rowling was horrified by their first pitch. For over 15 months, over a year, they were going back and forth, trading ideas, and Rowling was just not having any of these pitches. Like I said, she is very demanding, and she wanted everything to the letter about the theme parks that she wanted in there. She wanted to make sure that everything was as to the book as possible, which, good for her, honestly, on that one. And so this continued until 2004, when Rowling had just had enough. The straw that broke the camel's back being they wanted to make a Sorting Hat ride that was basically the teacups. They wanted to basically reskin the teacups, make it based on the Sorting Hat, and they wanted to call it the Dumbledore. Yeah, needless to say, Rowling was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And now this part is a rumor. It's rumored that when she saw the pitch for this Dumbledore ride, she threw those plans, walked out of the meeting, and then went right next door to Universal and demanded to see their creative head of the theme parks. I mean, that's just a rumor, but picture J.K. Rowling just, like, yeeting a table. Like Donkey Kong or something, just yeeting the table, and then just be like, I'm out. Walking right next door, and it's like, I demand to see your manager. I can't. Oh my god. So in 2005, Rowling had set up a meeting with one of the teams from Universal who came to London to meet her at a hotel, and they started trading ideas back and forth for a few days, just sitting there with Rowling, and were basically just hashing ideas out and talking with her, and she was impressed by the stuff they had brought. J.K. Rowling was really impressed with, like, the concept art and everything that they had brought, that Universal had brought, whereas with Disney, she was just horrified. I mean, that Dumbledore's idea, I mean, that's terrifying shit. I would not want to ride a Sorting Hat-based teacup, I am just saying. But yeah, she was really impressed with their plans, but she said everything was all wrong. Yeah, she said it was just all wrong. And she really wanted everything, again, to be to the letter. And so they worked for a few days just hashing ideas back and forth. But and then the team left. And they didn't really sign a letter of intent. They didn't get the deal with Rowling, but they were on good terms at this point. So Rowling tried one more time with Disney. She took the concepts that her and Universal had made up, and she took it back to Disney. And at this point, she wasn't dealing with Michael Eisner, who she was working with before with Disney. J.K. Rowling was now dealing with Bob Iger, who is now basically running the day-to-day things at Disney. I mean, Eisner was still CEO, but most of the power was now in Iger's park. And Iger looked right at these plans, because he was more occupied getting the rights to Pixar and buying out Pixar than he was getting the rights to Harry Potter. So Iger looked at these plans and he called them ridiculous and far-fetched, according to sources. They did not want a whole Diagon Alley. They didn't want the Hogwarts Castle because of Cinderella Castle. And so J.K. Rowling was just like, you know what? I'm done. I tried. I'm going to go to Universal. And years pass, and in 2007, Universal and Rowling started working on their plans for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And in 2010, I know this is something I remember, is the ads started coming out for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And I literally screamed seeing these ads. I literally was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, we're getting a Harry Potter world. I didn't even know about these plans with Disney back then. So when I saw the ads on TV for Universal Studios, I was like, oh shit, they have Harry Potter. And I freaked out so bad because I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. I have all the books. And the picture books for it, so. Yeah. Needless to say, me being a little baby Potterhead, I was so freaking excited. And apparently I wasn't the only one, because multiple people showed up opening day for this. It broke records. The rides impressed everybody. They used things never seen before on these rides. And it was all to the book. I mean, they got the original cast to come back and film things, except for Alan Rickman, who wanted to distance himself from playing Professor Snape. Which rightfully so, because Alan Rickman playing Snape, he went through a lot of shit because he played Snape so well, so people started saying he was mean, and then women called the Snape wives thought that they were married to Severus Snape on an astral plane. I'm not gonna get into that. If you guys want weird Harry Potter fandom things, let me know if you want that video in the comments below. I will definitely, I'll do that. But anyway, the success of the Wizarding World and Universal Studios Hollywood broke the door for Universal. And it basically, instead of Universal being this, like, secondary park as to Disney, Instead of being always compared to like, yeah, well, it's not as good as Disney, Universal now had basically their own castle, their own standing. And now Universal was seen on the same plane as Disney. It was now a competitor, and a tough one at that. And it still is to this day, and now they're planning on, I think, expanding Diagon Alley and adding some more things, and they've brought the Wizarding World to multiple of their theme parks, as well as the technology that they've had, starting with these Harry Potter rides. It's gotten better and better, and I can't honestly wait to see where it goes, because, again, huge Potterhead here, huge nerd. So, yeah. That's the history of Harry Potter with both Disney, Universal, and all the theme parks in general. I thought this was, like, really, really interesting, and there's more kind of, like, small things going on, but that's, like, the base rundown, and this video is already getting kind of long, so, yeah. So, yeah, tell me what you thought about this. Did you know about any of this? Did this give you some interesting facts at all? Let me know. Let's talk about this in the comments. Give this a like if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button and be notified for whenever I post a video. Maybe. So, press all the buttons, do all the things. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.